What is up, guys? Today I wanted to revisit the LG G7, answer some questions that I've been getting about this phone. So the main question is, should you still buy this phone? So what I tell people is that if you are still looking to get an LG device for any specific reason, if you're looking at the G7 now, it is trending for $150, which is it's a good deal, but it was left off of LG's update list. So LG, released an update list that the last phones that they're going to support for the next 2 to 3 years. So I would highly recommend that you just get the G8. If you're going to spend, 150, I would say just save your money, put your money aside. You can get a G8 brand new for $319, and you can get one honestly for $184. If you want to go that route as well, the used refurbished route. Majority of the phones that I get are refurbished or used if they're like an older flagship. So I never really buy these type of phones new. So they always come in great quality. So that is my opinion on it, just so you can have a phone that is going to get software updates for the next couple of years. So that is something that I would do. But if you want the G7 for any specific reason, then it's still a fine phone and it works. I still use my G7. I think the last update, let's see, the last security patch on this guy was September 1st, 2020. That was the last security patch. I don't know if it's going to get another security patch. I just know it's not going to get Android 11 or 12. But the G7 itself, just talking about the phone, one of the things that I liked about this phone, why I think it's still one of my favorite phones, is the body of this phone is just really nice. It's a really nice phone to hold, and I know it sounds weird, but anybody with like smaller hands, this phone is probably one of the most comfortable phones that I've used without a case. Because most phones, if they're big, I have to put a case on them to sort of make my hand feel a little bit more comfortable using it. This is one of the phones that I can use without a case, and it feels extremely comfortable as well. Also, this phone with the Android 10 update has always been blazing fast. Since it's gotten that Android 10 update, it's just been really fast with launching applications. As you know, it still has the Snapdragon 845, 4 gigs of RAM on this guy as well. So it's a very fast phone as far as speed. It doesn't feel slow. Also, this phone is still very capable of playing the latest games. So if you're on like a super tight budget and you wanted to play games on your phone, this also is a great option for that. But one of the things I also really liked about this phone is the 1440p display on here is always really nice. It's just really nice to look at. Icons and everything just looks super sharp on here. So I guess one of the things that has aged, I guess, is there's no high refresh rate. I think all the phones that I've been using has had a high refresh rate. To me, you don't really notice the high refresh rate unless you're like scrolling like this on Instagram. And I guess like swiping and stuff like that, you'll kind of notice it a little bit. But yeah, that is one thing I noticed, but it's not really a big deal to most people. I don't think your average person really cares about the high refresh rate. And this is still one of the cheapest phones with a hi-fi quad DAC, because you do have the headphone jack at the bottom as well. And the speakers on this phone, every time I use the speakers on this phone, they just straight up sound amazing. Like if you just max volume, you can just actually feel the bass when you're holding it, and when you put it on the table, it just gets even louder. And it's just one single firing speaker. So that was always like the amazing thing with this phone. It's just one single firing speaker has such great quality. Like you can actually feel the vibration, and you put it on the table, it gets even louder. So it's one of those features, the LG sort of boombox speaker. I think this one did it the best. I think this speaker sounds better than the G8 and LG. I think the next best one would be the V60. The V60 sounds absolutely amazing, but this is extremely impressive for just a single firing speaker. Also, some things to note about this phone: battery life is just going to be okay on this phone. It's not anything too crazy. I think I still average around 6 hours of screen on time, which is fine. If you're a heavy gamer, you probably average around maybe 5 hours, 5 hours and 30 minutes. So battery life isn't going to be crazy. You do have all the little bells and whistles like NFC, an IP rating, wireless charging. So you actually have a lot of bells and whistles for $150. And honestly, these things might be going a little bit cheaper on eBay as well. I wonder how much they're going on eBay now. Let's actually find out here. $144. Yeah, they're going for as cheap as $100. Honestly, if you could get one for $100, I think that's a really good deal. If it comes in, pretty good quality, I honestly think that's a pretty good deal. If you're somebody that was maybe using just like a little cheap $100 phone, and then you want something a little bit more premium, you're not spending a lot of money. It says key grade, the grade is B. Yeah, so yeah, if you can pick this up for like $100, if you don't trust eBay, you want to get from Amazon, 150. It's still fine. It still works. Like I said, it's very snappy. Since the Android 10 update, it's just been really snappy, bouncing in and out of applications and stuff like that. I've never really had any complaints with speed on this phone. And also, just to touch on the cameras are fine on here. Yeah, image quality, when I put it up against some of the other LG phones, it's fine. I guess it shows its age a little bit with the coloring sort of a bit over contrasting things, making them super vibrant. And sometimes images can get a little bit soft if you're not in good lighting. But if you are in good lighting, I think this phone takes phenomenal photos. So image quality is pretty good on this phone as well. So overall, just nothing but pretty much good things to say about this phone. It sucks that it didn't get the continuation with the software support, because you got great hardware. The screen, I guess that's another thing. It's not a, it's not an OLED panel or whatever, but it still looks good to me. It's an IPS panel and it's sharper than most screens. So you're getting a super sharp 1440p display. So like I said, it's just going to be really, really nice. And I don't have issues with like brightness outdoors with this phone. It's still very vibrant, colorful. It's a nice screen, so I never had to complain with the screen. And plus, with an IPS panel, you don't get like the screen burn problems you would get on the AMOLED and OLED panels. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. The G7 is still a good buy if you really want one. But again, I would recommend getting a G8 just so you can have that software support for a few years. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.